Yo, after my last video, I got a ton of questions all related to multiclassing, and in this video, I'm going to be giving like a full comprehensive guide on everything that you need to know about multiclassing, if you should do it, and why and when it can be good, right? So start off, how to multiclass. Number one, you need to be level 10, okay? And anytime you level up after level 10, you will then get an icon right here. I'm level 40, so obviously I'm not on a level up, but anytime you have a level up, you press K, little arrow right here. You're gonna get an icon right here that says add class, right? And this will give you an option to pick through all the classes, kind of like how you can in character creation. And you click through, click finish, and then it'll add it. You see right now, I'm level 30 striker and level 10 warrior. That's how you multi-class. You need to be level 10, and you need to click the add class button, and you need to pick a class. Simple, all right? Now I'm gonna be talking about what you get from multi-classing. Now, if you see here, passive features, you see I have heavy armor. Your armor and what you can wear is completely dictated and dependent on what you start with, okay? So because I started warrior, I have the ability to wear heavy armor. But because I multi-classed to striker, I clicked add class and clicked striker to level 30, I do not have light armor. So I do not have access to light armor. I only have access to the armor that I started with, okay? Something else to note is that whenever you click add class, you'll get a preview as to what you get at level 1. So you could see that I have where is it? I have gauntlet trading, and this is something that you'll get for every class that you subclass into at level 1. You'll be able to use that weapon subclass, not the armor, but the weapon, okay? Next, the leveling. Now this is important to note, and a lot of people get a little confused about this, but you have 40 levels, okay? Everybody knows this. The max level is 40. But what this means when you subclass is that you can no longer get level 40 in a one class as soon as you subclass, right? Now, because I went striker subclass, right, at level 10, this means now that I do not get level 40 on warrior. I get level 39, okay? So think of it like type soul stat points. If you guys played type soul, how you had 60 stat points max, right? Or 65, it doesn't matter. You could put and divvy up your stat points into 2 different trees, right? Or any amount of trees at that, but you could divvy up your stat points, but you still would only have 60 max stat points to invest, right? Now what this means is that you don't get certain passives and moves because of your level. You see, because I'm level 30 striker, I don't have the new passive they added because it's a higher level rec than 30, right? Now another thing that's really important, you still need level 30 to subclass. I need level 30 in striker to get monk subclass, right? And what this also means, and something that is very cool and what makes multiclassing a little bit stronger, is the fact that your subclass moves don't scale off your class level. You see, I'm level 30 striker, but I still have all of the subclass moves. Spirit cleanse is gone at, I think, level 37 or like 35, it doesn't matter. But you see that I'm level 30 striker rather, and I still have the high level subclass move. And this is because your subclass moves are based on your total level, not your actual like class level, right? So anytime you subclass and you're level 30 into a subclass, but you're level 40, you'll still have all the subclass moves, which gives a little bit of versatility to it, right? Next thing I'm going to talk about is stats. Now, anytime you level up any class, you're going to get a certain amount of stats. So for example, for warrior, you get 3 stats or 3 strength and 2 stamina. For striker, you get 3 stamina, 2 strength. The way this works is, obviously, it'll add up all the times you've leveled up into warrior. So I've leveled up 10 times, I have 30, 20. But these stats are added up, right? Alright, so just quick thing to note that, like how the stats are added up. And these 2 stats are obviously just added up to your total, right? So I have plus 90 or plus 110 stamina and plus 90 strength, right? From all my classes combined. Now, next, and the big thing, is the synergies that you have with subclassing. Now obviously you don't want to just subclass into random stuff and just be level 1 into everything and then be level 35 into warrior, right? You want to be smart with it, and there are certain things you can do to be smart with it, right? As you can see, I have a multi-class, and that is level 10 warrior and level 30 monk. Specifically, I started with warrior so I could get heavy armor. So the synergy with this is obviously just having striker, having like being a main striker, but having heavy armor, which gives you the opportunity to have a lot more resistance than you would on normal striker, right? So this is an example of one synergy. But something you can do is, instead of going striker, you can go archer to get access to heavy armor on archer, because archer is a class that is super squishy, right? So you could kind of make up for a lot of that squishiness with heavy armor, right? A bad thing about this though, and something you have to be careful of, is the fact that the armor you have won't actually give you agility, which is the main stat that archer scales off of, right? So you'd be missing out on a good amount of agility, let alone like not taking into account the fact that you'll have less agility because you're a 10 into warrior, but you'll also have less agility because of obviously your armor won't be giving you agility other than your runes. But this can be strong, and this can be worth trade-off depending on if you want to or not, for the resistance, for example, if you want to use it in PvP. Right, so that's another example of a synergy. One really popular multi-class that a lot of people have been using recently is the one priest, and this is for Holy Light. When you put one level into priest, you get a self-healing move that heals you 45 HP, and this is pretty low investment. Obviously it's a one level, but the only drawback is, again, you won't be able to get your level 40 move in whatever your main class is, right? Because you have 40 total levels. You give one class to priest, you now have 39 in another class. And this brings me to my next point, being to never multi-class on thief. Because the thief level 40 move is so good, being a death mark, you pretty much need that on every single thief build. So something I would not recommend whatsoever is to multi-class on thief, okay? It's not worth going one priest to get a little bit healing, but give up your like biggest damaging move, right? So another thing to note is to just just don't multi-class on thief. Now my last point is kind of just a rule of thumb whenever you multi-class on if you should or shouldn't. If you think you have a really good synergy in mind, or if you have a build in mind that you think could work really well, then go ahead and multi-class, but just make sure before you do anything that you know what you're doing with it and you know where your build direction is going to go. It's really important to note. And multiclassing as a whole can be strong, although most of the time it isn't, right? And I could see them maybe changing, maybe, although I think it's good for the game. The fact that you get your subclass moves based on your total level, not class level. This is, I'm pretty sure, intentional, but if they end up changing this, then low-key just scrap the whole idea of multiclassing. But I think it can be strong, again, depending on what subclass you do, if it's like self-sufficient, and if the moves from level 30 to 40 aren't that good on the class, like they're not needed, then I could see you doing it, right? But for the most part, just know what you're doing, don't be stupid, and like keep in mind the fact that sometimes it's just not good to do, right? Hopefully this answers a bunch of you guys' questions. Again, I had a ton of questions from my last video, but yeah, hopefully this answers a bunch of your questions. And yeah, peace.